Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special, somewhat unfortunate episode of Pinfalls. I, of course, am who else but Tommy else, and joining me, as always, the stalwart man on the beat, coming to us from Skokie, Illinois, Mr. John Wroblewski.
I like stalwart. That's good.
I'll give you that, if nothing else. I can say a lot of things about you. Stalwart is one
Well,
of
and
them.
first of all, happy belated birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it was yesterday.
40,
46.
46.
46. Yeah.
Getting up there.
Hey, you know what? I'm fine with that. I don't know. I've never had a problem with the whole aging thing. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm glad I made it another year.
Well, I'm glad you're alive too.
And that's all I really care about.
Because, who else would record these things?
That's right.
And speaking of that,
Well, I would like to start off with a statement I have prepared to kick off the show here. My fellow Americans. For 20,
wait, just Americans?
well, this primarily affects the American audience more than anybody.
All right. All right.
Now, if
Why
you
you
know,
exclude
now,
people?
now you don't interrupt the president when he addresses. You don't just
Well,
stop and be
you're
like, "Well, you're only
excluding
talking to
people.
Americans here." Like,
You're
let's.
excluding people. We should be inclusive.
All right. Well, this is a prepared statement. I'm not rewriting it.
So just edit that part.
So if you will let me just deliver what I have
Go ahead.
prepared, you can criticize it afterwards. Okay.
Go ahead.
Maybe this is all going to be for the best. Maybe this will all just be for the best. All right. As I was saying, my fellow Americans,
People.
for 26 years, I have watched every WWE pay per view through good times and through bad. I have cheered, I have booed, and I have shared this passion with friends, family, and all of you through this podcast, Pinfalls. But today, we stand at a crossroads. WWE has chosen to place their premium live events exclusively behind a $30 a month ESPN Plus paywall. On top of the product already being fragmented across Netflix, Hulu, Sling, Fubo, CW, and more. This decision is not just an inconvenience, it is an insult to loyal fans who have invested decades of support only to be met with greed, corporate overreach, and a disregard for the very people who built this business. Let me be clear. We cannot, in good conscience, continue as if nothing has changed. Therefore, Pinfalls, the podcast, will soon be placed on hiatus. We do not do this lightly, but there comes a time when you must speak with your wallet, with your voice, and with your actions. Until this crisis is resolved, until WWE and TKO remember who they serve, Pinfalls as a prediction show will not resume. To our listeners and our viewers, thank you. To our fellow fans, we ask that you stand strong. And to WWE, the ball is in your court. May the spirit of wrestling always live on in the hearts of the people. Thank you, and good night.
May I address it?
Yes.
Okay, other than the introduction where you excluded people, I thought it was very good until almost to the very end. Pinfalls is not going on hiatus. Pinfalls as the prediction show.
I just said as a prediction show.
But originally, your first statement was Pinfalls is going on hiatus. I just want to be clear about that.
Like I said, this is probably maybe a good idea.
I just want to be clear about that.
Maybe WWE is doing this for a reason.
You can't stand a little constructive. It's not even criticism. I'm just saying to be clear.
This guy. Well, I went to
All
college.
your fans want to know
writing.
We aren't going away. We're going to read if it continues as such, we are going to retool and we're going to come up with something that
We
we view equally as entertaining
all
and
right.
as combative, and we'll move forward.
We have discussed some possible options as to what we will do in lieu of our predictions. It's it sucks. This sucks because this decision is affecting a lot of different things in my world right now. Okay, this is one of them. Okay, because I do genuinely enjoy doing this show, and
We've been doing this this is our fifth year.
yeah, we've been doing it a long time, and I do, and I'll be honest, like we are on, we're of course very consistent with it, because we don't miss the pay-per-views, and it's good for you and I because we get to, it forces us to even just get that, 20-30 minutes of, FaceTime with each other, and as much as I do rag on you, I do enjoy our time together, and
Same.
um, I
We've only
also,
missed one. You only missed one pay-per-view. We as a show have not missed a pay-per-view since we started.
yeah,
You had a bad case of laryngitis for one show. You could have done it, but we couldn't hear you. So
is that what it was?
you were really sick.
I
It
was
was
sick.
early on. It was one of the first few shows. You were really
Yeah,
sick.
it was just like it wasn't gonna work.
Yeah.
One of the others is that I, as you know, host every pay-per-view over at my place. So this is like a regular social event at my place where I have people buying stuff. That's gonna be gone. Now, I can't speak for you, but for me, I am definitely if anyone's been following me on Facebook or especially Twitter, which I'm very not a Twitter guy or X or whatever you want to call it. This is like it's the one place where you have a chance at being heard. So I have been very vocal on Twitter about all of this. Um, and I've been, of course, hashtagging the uh, the old hashtag of
Boycott WWE.
yeah, boycott WWE, and it's because it's not just the pay-per-views. If we're gonna affect any change, if we're gonna make any sort of difference, we have to stop giving them money. And that means Raw, SmackDown, NXT, LFG, Unreal, all of their programming. So for me, this is going to be like trying to stop drinking or smoking or something like that. Like, what do we do? 26 some years I've been watching this. I don't know what to do with myself on a Monday night now. It's like I don't
Well,
know what I'm gonna do after this.
let me ask you what a lot of people probably will ask. Would we do pinfalls for AEW?
Hell no. And I've already been asked, like, well, are you going to start watching AEW now? And I'm like,
I agree.
I would rather not watch wrestling.
I
So
agree.
I'm
No, I
sorry.
agree. Totally.
Look, I know there's a lot of people out there who love AEW and everything, and if it scratches that itch for you, then I'm glad. Good for you. And I
NWA?
I I just think that at this point, if I'm gonna do it, it might be time. It might be good for me to just have a cleansing period from all pro wrestling in general. It's nothing against NWA or any of those promotions. AEW, I truly don't like. I don't know NWA enough to have an opinion on it, but I just figure I'm not gonna just try starting over with somebody else or something like that. It's like after being married 26 years, it's like I'm gonna take a break before I get it back into dating again. So,
I hear you.
who knows what might happen down the road. But
Well, for now, that's our stance. And again, we're going to figure something out to continue this concept at least.
yeah. Um, so to kind of flesh it out for those who may not know, I'm sure if you're watching this, you already kind of have an idea of what's going on. But ESPN Plus was supposed to take over the pay-per-views in the beginning of 2026, which already was going to be a problem. We just hadn't decided on like what was the course of action we were going to take on this. I mean, and by we, I mean like, wrestling fans. And then last Tuesday, it dropped that ESPN had gone to Peacock and worked out a deal with them to just cut off the pay-per-views after Clash in Paris, and they're going to just start right away. So it was kind of like it happened so quick that like everybody's just been up in arms over this whole thing because now you're looking at You got to pay if you want to have the catalog, at least for now. You're paying for Peacock. If you want Monday Night Raw, you got to have Netflix. If you want to see SmackDown, you either need to have cable or like a Hulu Plus premium subscription. And now you're going to need ESPN Plus for the pay-per-views. Now, the pay-per-views being on Peacock worked out great because Peacock's got a lot of different stuff on it. A lot of good TV shows and movies and things like that. And while I'm a big baseball guy, I'm more of a Cubs fan than I am a baseball fan. You know what I mean? And even with that, the ESPN, like I don't watch shows about baseball or about the Cubs and the trades and all the things that they're doing. I just watch the games and I pay $20 a month for Marquee Network so that I can do that. But I watch like 4 or 5 games a week, so it's completely worth it for me. There's nothing on ESPN Plus that I would want to watch. I'm just not that big of a sports guy in general. And I think that the pro wrestling audience, while there is some crossover for sure, the ones who cross over into both categories are in the minority. For a lot of people, pro wrestling is like they're not into sports, but this again scratches that itch for them. It's like they kind of have this is their sport. You know, pro wrestling has always been like the misfit, the redheaded stepchild of sports. And controversial in its own way. And they're trying to like somehow give it legitimacy by putting it on ESPN Plus. But if you can't achieve that legitimacy amongst the public on its own, putting it on that network isn't necessarily going to do it. And all it's doing is pissing off all of the people who are paying for like several streaming services because at a pay-per-view, it's Raw, it's SmackDown, occasionally an NXT match is thrown in there. How the hell are you supposed to keep up with all those and then still throw on an extra $30 a month for 3 hours? Maybe if they do 2 pay-per-views that month, it's 6. But let's call it 6 hours for a whole month's worth, of 6 hours of entertainment for a $30 a month fee. Now, back in the day when you ordered a pay-per-view before all the streaming services and stuff, a pay-per-view was up there. It could be anywhere between like, 50 to $100 depending on what it was. And your friends came over and they all threw in like $5 or something like that. I'm not doing that with this. I'm not having my friends come over and like throw a 5 in the fishbowl, and chip in for this, and I don't think they would, to be quite honest.
Well, and plus, like you said, what good does it do to just for the pay-per-view if you haven't watched the rest of it all once?
Right. On top of all of this, you also have the ridiculous prices that they're charging for the live events themselves. So if you want to go
Oh,
to the WWE and see it, I mean, back in the day, the cheap seats were somewhere between like 50, $75, somewhere in there, and now they're like well into the hundreds. Front row for the last pay-per-view was somewhere in the $5,000 to $6,000 range.
yeah.
I think SummerSlam front row was $20,000. And
Who's
the thing,
paying that though? Is it
well,
corporate?
well, that's the thing is if you look at who's in those front rows, all those sponsors that they've got out there, it's like, so if you work for Dude Wipes or whatever and you get free tickets to go to SummerSlam or whatever, those guys are getting those corporate seats and stuff like that. You got to go back like 10, 15 rows before you start seeing people like who are like real wrestling fans, and the merchandise has gone up. And I don't, and from the merchandise standpoint, maybe the wrestlers are making more money, but otherwise, all these price hikes on everything, it's not like the wrestlers are making any extra money from any of this either. So they're not benefiting either. And what I want to also make clear is that while I am boycotting WWE, the blame is really on TKO. Okay. Um, TKO, since they purchased WWE, has made these decisions. And there's a lot of people out there who are blaming Triple H and blaming The Rock. If you go and look at the shareholdings of how much they actually have, I think the one who has possibly the most is Stephanie McMahon, who has 1%.
Yeah.
And then like The Rock is like 0.9. Vince might have three. Maybe he's got the most. Vince still has like 3% of it or whatever. But if you know anything about any of that sort of stuff, even with 3%, you have no voice. You have no say in any of this. So I don't blame The Rock and I don't blame Triple H for this. I don't think that this is what they want. At least with Triple H. I don't know what The Rock's up to these days, but either way, The Rock, even if he wanted to stop it, I don't think he could.
Oh, no.
You know, this is why all this crazy sponsorship has been happening. It's like we've been seeing this all, and I just like I guess like I just didn't I didn't think it would come to this.
Well, look, here's the thing. First of all, I do disagree a little bit. I think there is more crossover in sports fans than you realize. I don't think it's like huge, like 90%. I think there are a
Well, I
lot
don't
more.
think it's that. I mean, I'm thinking
No,
more
no, but
like,
what I'm saying is that's even worse because sports fans are already paying for, NFL Red Zone and all this. Now they're gonna have to pay more for wrestling if they want it. But
sure,
this is also what we've been seeing in other sports all along. Cubs tickets are ridiculous, and the best seats in all the stadiums now, the front rows, most of that is corporate now.
yeah,
It's not the average fan because the average fan can't afford. You're going to take a
no,
family of four or whatever to a
hmm
Cubs game and sit in the front row or the front few rows. You're going to be paying, five, $600 for the day at least.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I went to a Cubs game a couple of weeks ago, and now I've been lucky that I've got friends who tend to fall into tickets, and I just get asked to go to games and stuff, and then I'll just, buy them some beer and some hot dogs and, things like that. But like I went to what was supposed to be a doubleheader, and people were asking like, "Are you going to stay for both games?" And I'm like, I only had tickets for the first one, but the thought that crossed my mind first was like, God, can you imagine how much that would cost? Because for me to go to the Cubs game, I'm not even paying for the ticket. I'm just going to the game,
Right.
and two hot dogs and a Coke Zero, and I've put out like $40 to get
Yeah.
them. Now, what if I had a wife and two kids,
Yeah.
And what if we did stay for the second game? So throw on the tech, throw like forget the ticket prices alone. I mean, that's several $100s right there
And
for
then
for
40, 50 for
for a couple of
parking.
hot dogs and a Coke. So and
Yeah.
so anyway,
So
all of
the
this,
bottom line is WWE is it's now gone the way of all the other sports, and it's priced out for the average fan.
right? And so this is where, and I've said this to people, I'm like, things are bad, like when I'm going to be like, okay, like, a line needs to be drawn, man. I mean, at a certain point, for the sake of the business, like if you care about this business, I think a line needs to be drawn. My friend, our mutual friend Bryce, he's told me, and I agree, that I think that the thing needs to just be burnt to the ground at this point and rebuilt, and
It
been
won't
brought
happen.
back up. No, it won't happen, but that's probably what it needs.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't know how much of an effect, people backing off of this is going to have. We'll see. But I mean, like, everyone always asks, themselves in these situations, what's my one contribution going to matter in this whole thing? But that's why you need the masses. That's why you've got to get enough people. If you don't do it, then no one else does it. And, if it's something that you care about, you really should consider speaking with your wallet and just letting them know, like, hey, we want to watch it. We love it, but we're not willing to do this. And TKO had, it wasn't like an official, press release or anything like that, but it was said somewhere online that they were basically saying that they were aware that people were unhappy with the ticket prices. They didn't even address the streaming stuff, and that they were roughly somewhere around like $3 billion in debt or something like that, and that when they have paid off that debt, they will go back to their regular
Yeah.
prices. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, first of all, that's not our problem, number one, that you overextended yourself by buying the UFC and WWE at the same time. Number two, we can't trust that when that 3 billion gets met, that they're going to be like, okay, and then hit the switch, and then everything goes back
Yeah,
to
we're going to cut
normal.
off our revenue stream just just
Right.
just because we're even. Yeah, and the toll roads were only supposed to be toll roads until the debt was paid off, and the marijuana was going to get us out of debt, and the lottery tickets were going to get us out of debt,
And I have
and
somebody
none
who
of that
made,
happened.
I have a friend of mine who made those three exact references too, and it's I don't buy it. It's a sham.
Well, here's the
So,
thing. If AEW, and I don't like AEW, if AEW was smart, they would clean up their crap and put on really good shows and move. This is their
I
opportunity.
agree. I
But
agree.
they've got
No,
such a bloated roster and so bad storylines, and they're relying on 55-year-old ex-WWE guys to carry the story. And let's put guys through, glass tables. If they could clean their crap up, this would
mhm.
be their opportunity to move up. I don't
Oh,
see it happening.
if no, you're 1,000% right. I agree with you 100%. If they were ever going to strike, now is the time. But they got to start like changing up the formula and start getting serious about this and quit dicking around.
They got to trim the roster, drop 50% of their titles. They got to make the storylines make sense, focus on the younger guys.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I agree with all of it. So, I won't belabor this much longer, but I just wanted to kind of throw out there like what's going on, why we're doing this, why I'm unhappy with this at least. And again, for me, I mean, I can't even guess how much money I've given them in my lifetime between streaming services, DVDs, action figures, replica belts, t-shirts, all of it, going to events, all that stuff. And that they just, they're just spitting in our face. And again, I by they I mean TKO, but I just it's sad. And this was what I always worried about, like, if Vince died or something, like what happens, with the next generation? Like what's going to happen when somebody else takes this over? Because I knew the McMahons weren't going to have it forever,
And here it is.
So, and here we are, and it's basically what I was afraid was going to happen. So, I don't know. You never say never, and I'm hoping that they will listen to the people and at least consolidate some of these things. I don't mind if it's spread out over like maybe two, services or something like that or whatever. And people have said, well, you can get ESPN plus Disney Plus and Hulu in a package and all that. And I'm like, yeah, but it's like 75, $80 or whatever. And I'm like, and the other two, I don't really watch that much either. So, it's like that's not helping me. So we'll see. We'll see what they end
So
up
for,
doing.
for now, it's hashtag boycott WWE, and let's get into our predictions.
Yes. All
Clash
right.
in Clash in Paris.
Clash in Paris. Now, one of the things people have brought up is uh, is that they were paying, they're going to pay all this money for the service and everything, and they're only getting 5 matches of pay-per-view. Well, I understand that to a degree. On the other hand, we've also been very vocal on here that we've enjoyed the 5 to 6 match
Yeah, I don't
pay-per-views.
mind. I'd rather
I
see
don't.
5 matches
I
than garbage
I'm
ads.
okay with that. I just don't
Yeah.
need to spend $30 a pay-per-view for it. But I'm okay with the situation. So
With
here
that being
let's.
said, though, I do think this is an unnecessary pay-per-view. It doesn't do a whole lot for me. The individual matches might be good matchups, but in terms of I don't really,
You're not
for,
invested in any of it. Yeah, it's
right.
just. So, I mean, and I don't know, like I said, it might be by design that they are doing this because, for the last one. And then, I think another thing they might be trying to bank on is if, as the next several months being seen as retirement, and that will force people to kind of, have to watch it. And the only thing I'll say about that, and then we'll get into the predictions, is it's not going to change anything for me. It's a
Me neither.
bummer. It's a bummer because I would like to watch the rest of this. I will say that I am going to watch Cena's final match, and here's why. Because yes, while it is giving what they're going to have anyways, huge ratings. I believe it's going to be on Peacock when it airs. So they're going to do Saturday night's main event, is what they're saying at least right now. Uh, I feel like John Cena deserves to have the audience. After everything he's done for 25 years, he deserves to have people and his fans and everybody watch his final match. Corporate stuff aside, for one night, I'll drop the ban for just his match out of respect for him, and give him that. But then that's it.
Fair
So,
enough.
all right, here we go. Let's start with the Women's Intercontinental Championship. It is John's favorite female wrestler, and possibly female in general, the man, Becky Lynch, will be defending her title against Nikki Bella. I wish Nikki Bella would go back to wherever she came from. I didn't like her then. I don't like her now. Uh, Becky, by all rights, should be able to beat the ever living crap out of Brie Bella or out of Nikki Bella. Actually, like Brie Bella, okay, not as a wrestler, but at least as a person. Uh, but yeah, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I don't see Becky dropping the title to Nikki Bella. I think it would be absolutely insane, and Nikki would be a terrible champion. And if they do that, then they really are off the rails. So
Short and sweet, I completely agree. There's no reason for Bella to even be on the show. Give that spot to a young and up and coming wrestler. Let her get the rub even with the loss. Bella does nothing. It does nothing for Bella. She's going to be gone. It does nothing for Becky. It's not like Becky's beating somebody good. It does nothing for anybody. And in the fans neither. Who wants to see Becky
the
done?
the only thing that would have been good that they really missed out on the opportunity is
I don't
when
like this.
Cena was healed, man. I'm telling you, the bringing something about between
No,
him and Nikki would have been great. It would have been
no.
great.
I will
Why?
say that was one of
What,
the best promos for with Becky when she did the "You Can't See It." That was
yeah,
great.
yeah. I'm telling you, there's a lot of gold in there, man. There's something to work with there,
No,
but
move on.
it's too late. Okay, Sheamus and Rusev for the millionth time are going to go at it in a good old fashioned Donnybrook match, which basically just means it's a no DQ match. We have seen these two slugging it out for months, and no amount of security on the planet seems to be able to keep these two down. Which I just, they've really weakened the security thing. Like
Yeah,
back in the day, like if security had to come out to like try to, get Stone Cold under control or whatever, it was huge. It was a big deal.
yeah,
Now it's like every episode, every Monday night, security's out there. There could be 15 or 20 of them, and that one guy will take them all out, no problem.
yeah.
Or the two guys, and nobody can contain. It's like, who are these security
Then
guys?
they contain them, and then one guy breaks free, does the big jump. Gee, we haven't seen that enough.
Right. Um, so I think that ultimately throughout this whole thing, Sheamus has just been trying to help his old buddy Rusev get, back in WWE and get him over and everything. And so if I'm assuming and praying that this is the blow off match for them. And so with that in mind, I'm going to go with Rusev because he's the one who needs to, if they're going to do anything with him, he needs to take a step forward. And Sheamus doesn't really have anything going on, and it's not hurting him by any means to let Rusev get the win and then move on from this whole thing.
I agree completely. This is another one. I don't mean to sound negative again. It's like I don't care about this match. As weird as this sounds, I think it's going to be a good match. I think it's going to be a slugfest, and we'll get to see these batter each other. But I don't care.
Yeah,
Who cares who wins? If either one wins, it doesn't make a difference at all.
right.
Rusev wins because Sheamus is just a clown not a clown. He's a filler at this point.
All right, moving on. Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed, the tribal or the tribal thief, owner of the Shula Fala, which I do love. That was a great one. The Shula Fala. I'm a big fan of that whole thing. Uh, and he's been embarrassing Roman Reigns. He's been bullying Roman Reigns. Stole his shoes off his feet, which if you live in the right area, you know what that means. It's an old school bully technique, but I liked it. I thought that was good. You're shaking your head, but I
Yeah,
mean,
this and the CM Punk bracelet. Yeah, come
this
on.
is better than the bracelet.
The whole thing is
Uh,
dumb.
it's a bully move, like that. Like the bracelet was like that was too manufactured. This is like something like there's people out there who've had that happen to them. They know what that's like. So like I get that. Um, I honestly, at this point, this is the toughest one for me to
I
call,
agree.
honestly. On one hand, it's like you want to, let Bronson Reed keep rolling, and they've got, the faction is growing, and it's trying to get some traction and everything now that Rollins is back and he's got his title and everything. On the other hand, Reigns, I don't think that they can just bring him back and have him look weak in this either. So, he's got, Bronson Reed's got, the rest of the faction behind him to help if need be. But I think I'm going to lean towards Roman Reigns on this. It's really a close one for me. It's damn near a coin toss, but I'm going to just say Roman Reigns.
I'm going Reed. He's got the backup. I think the feud will continue. Oh God, the shoes. The shoes. I think the feud will continue. Roman, he can absorb the loss. He's not gonna lose any stature. They'll go another pay-per-view, which we won't see because it's going to be on the new thing.
Yeah.
Reed needs to win more, I think. I think we need to establish Reed a little bit more. Reed gets the win.
Okay, well, good.
And Roman won't hurt because, like you said, he's got the faction behind him. They can
No,
keep
it's not.
winning.
It's like I said. It's really just more a matter of just not letting him look weak. Like if he's
Right.
he can lose strong, but they got to
Yeah.
make sure that he does. But I have a hard time deciding which way to go, and I agree with what you're saying too. So it's like I said, it just feels more like a coin flip. Okay, the World Heavyweight Championship will be defended by Seth Rollins in a four-way match, which neither of us are big fans of. It will include CM Punk, Jey Uso, and LA Knight. Uh, I'm sure this will be a somewhat entertaining match, and but again, right now, I think there's no reason that after Rollins had just come back after faking the injury, cashing in the money in the bank, it's like they're not going to just take the title off of him. They're trying to push his faction. They're trying to get Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker over. Uh, there's nothing to be gained by Seth giving up the title right now. So I'm going with Seth Rollins.
Same reason, Seth Rollins. Uh, Knight's not going to win it. He's not. He's not going to win. And Punk just had it. So why would you flip it right back to him? That's pointless. Uso, maybe, but no. Seth Rollins wins it or retains, I should say.
Yeah.
There's no other. It doesn't make
I
sense
mean,
any other way.
you could do things like if you put the title on any of the other guys, there's stuff you could do with them for sure. But I mean, it just wouldn't make any sense for the sake of Rollins,
Right.
who's arguably the biggest star in the company right now. So,
Right.
or at least in the top three. And so, it's like he's the one with the star power, and Punk just it's just not right. It's not the timing's not right for him right
Right.
now. So. Okay, last one. The Never Seen 17. John Cena recently turned face, to my dismay. Will
Which
be
I kind of
face.
predicted. I should get a little credit for that.
I give it to you. I give it to you. Versus the internet superstar Logan Paul, the social media superstar, or whatever they want to call him. I just don't see Cena losing any matches until his retirement match at this point. So, I mean, you could put him in with just about anybody. And I think especially if for some reason they were going to have him lose a match before he retires, I don't think Logan Paul's the one he's going to lose it to. So I'm going John Cena all the way on that.
The only reason Cena would lose it is if you're building Logan Paul and you're going to have a feud with these two guys. I don't think they're going to have a feud. I think it's going to be Cena just facing,
There's,
as you said before, a
yeah,
whole
there's not enough.
succession of
th-
guys.
right. There's not enough
So why do
time.
you have him? Why would you have him lose to Logan Paul? He
Right.
might lose somewhere down the line to somebody, maybe to give him a rub, but or for whatever reason. But there's no point in him losing to Logan Paul.
Well, we're basically on coming up on September here. This is going to be on August 31st. So
Yeah,
Cena's got till I think December. So that's September, October, November, and then into like early to mid December. That means he's probably got like maybe four, maybe five title defenses, maybe between now and then, depending on like how
well,
much.
they could add a feud to a Raw or whatever to spice it up.
Right, but regardless, it's like there's just not enough time. We've got 4 months left,
Right.
and my vision is that I see this all culminating versus him versus The Rock when it's all said and done, and that's going to be the
And
final
then he
match.
wins and retires.
No, I think The Rock wins and retires Cena. When you retire, you lose your last match.
Not
I
always.
Not always, and Cena could be an exception, but
Because I
I
don't even like that. I understand that that's tradition. You lose the last match, but if that's the case, then everyone knows the outcome. All right, he's gonna. It's like, well, he's in Canada, so Bret Hart can't lose.
yeah,
I
I
don't.
I get it, but it's, and again, it's a tradition that, I don't know, maybe it's antiquated, but it's it is tradition. And the way I see it is The Rock is the final boss. This keeps him in a situation where, because like if he loses to Cena, it shows vulnerability on The Rock. And for him to maintain power in the WWE, in the storyline of the universe, he needs to be able to, to be able. It's like if this was going to be like an ongoing thing, like a Rock, like a Stone Cold and McMahon type of thing, different story, But if this is it for Cena, that's it.
Well,
I
here it
just
is. Cena beats Rock. Rock then pummels him after the match and starts just beating the hell out of him. Enter some potential heel who saves Cena, turns face. Cena and said heel face now raises his hand in unity. We have a new face.
I mean, anything's possible, but either way,
Are you going to be there by any chance? Is Cena going to raise the else's? Who else? Tommy else?
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Uh,
Is that why Pinfalls is going on hiatus? You're in training.
I only got 4 months, man. It's gonna be, it's gonna be rough.
Bring the shake weight.
And and it might not be me. It might be Erica St. Vaughn who takes over.
Erica?
Yeah, maybe they push the female element as the new face of the company. Who knows? Might be taking some
You better
progressive moves.
shave.
So I don't have to do anything. That's a completely different person. So I mean, good for her.
Well,
You know, I wish her luck. Um, so yeah, so we only differ on one, and I kind of figured if there was one, that would be the match. But I'm glad that we at least have one on the line. So I am having people over. You're welcome, as always. But this will be my last pay-per-view I'm watching. It'll be the last pay-per-view I'm hosting for the foreseeable future. And I'm really hoping that they're going to figure something out down the road here that's going to be amenable to the average viewer and the middle and lower class people who like to watch this, because it's, outside of NXT, they're not even on network television anywhere. At least SmackDown used to be on UPN, and now it's on cable, which is fine because most people have something like that and everything. But when you start taking, it's like when they took the Cubs off of WGN and the Bulls off of TV and stuff. Attendance was down, because initially, at least, because you want to see that crowd, and it's seeing that crowd, it's seeing the events and saying to yourself, I want to go, I want to be there when they come to town. I got to go see WWE. And you got to think about all the kids out there right now too, because the only way that those kids are going to get hooked, outside of having parents who are already into it, is by running across it on TV or through their friends. Well, that possibility is going to start diminishing as well, because you have to make a very deliberate effort to go and watch pro wrestling, or at least WWE. So we'll see. We'll see what they
Well,
do.
this is my argument, real quick. My argument with the old new softball league that formed, Athletes Unlimited Softball League, which now plays under traditional rules. Um, they're they're partnering with MLB. They're on ESPN, but they're on like 30 different ESPNs. One night it's ESPN, then it's ESPN Plus, then it's people don't know where to find it, and then sometimes it's on Hulu, and sometimes it's on this. You're not going to get the kids. you're not going to make that effort. Kids and people aren't going to make that effort. Well, where do I watch it? Say, oh, it's on tape delay tonight. You're not going to get that.
No.
And it's the same thing with WWE. If it's that splintered, you are going to lose your audience. What
Yeah.
time is it on Sunday? It's on Sunday, right?
Yeah, I believe it's 2 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central our time. So,
No, it'd be the other way around.
yeah, whatever.
If
So
it's 2 p.m. Eastern, it'd be
it's
1.
1 p.m. here then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm having people over, but we'll be watching the replay of it. We're not having an afternoon pay-per-view. So,
Oh, if you're doing it at night?
yeah, 6
Okay.
p.m. I'm gonna have people by. So, uh, again, you're always welcome. But
I was going to make it in the afternoon on my way down to the south side because I'm going down to spend time with the relatives over the weekend. But now you're doing it at night.
uh-huh, it's always an excuse. Always an
Hey, I
excuse.
worked Bulls Fest last weekend. I wanted to come I was there freaking all day, man.
Everybody was asking, not everybody, but a few people asked about you at the birthday party, asking if you were going to be there, and I was like, that guy doesn't come out for anything. That guy doesn't.
I would love to, man, but
Yeah. Yeah.
Saturdays are rough. I've known Louis for 40 something
I
years,
know.
and
I
we're
know.
trying to get, our old softball team together, and Saturdays are tough for me.
I know. I understand. I'm just busting your balls.
No, you're not. You're just being a meanie. Turns 46
Well, I
and
only
you're
have so
sleeping.
much time left to do it publicly, so uh,
No, this is going to continue in just a different,
at least on here. So
different concept.
yeah.
Pinfalls will live on.
All right, everybody. Well, uh, enjoy the final pay-per-view that will be on Peacock, and consider what we said and our stance on it. I mean, everybody, handle it the way you feel best, but I just feel like this is something that if you gotta let your voice be heard, and in this day and age, money is what talks louder than anything else.
And if you have any ideas for what you'd like to see us do, if we're not doing prediction shows, tell us.
Yes, please. We would love to hear it, and we may very well just if we get a good one, you know, we'll do it,
We
and
may do
we'll
something else. We may do something different every show. Who knows?
yeah. So we're gonna work on that, and we'll let you know. We are gonna come back for one more episode to review what happened at Clash at the Paris or Clash in Paris, and then put a bow on this iteration of Pinfalls, and then we will in time announce our intentions going forward as far as what we'll do with the show then. So so until the next episode of Pinfalls, I of course, as always, have been who else but Tommy else. And with me is the man on the beat from johngysbeat.com with a bandaged thumb, and I don't know why, Mr. John Wroblewski.